A mother's love. The poignant moment of Andrea Swift on the grand estate where Taylor and Travis's wedding ceremony took place, the sun was starting to set. As guests mixed under the soft glow of string lights, their laughter and chatter carried across the evening breeze, charged with expectation, a mix of excitement and nerves. Andy Swift near the flower arrangements. Taylor's devoted mother watched the audience, her heart thumping in her chest and her emotions conflicted. Her daughter was brining the love of her life today. For years, Andrea had seen Taylor develop not only as a singer, but also as a woman navigating the tumult of celebrity. She had seen her daughter go through heartache, loss, and times of uncertainty, but through it all, Taylor had blossomed into someone so very strong, compassionate, and resilient. Now, here she was, poised at the brink of a new chapter of her life, about to wed Travis Kelce, the man who had captured her heart. Andrea's breath caught in her throat as Taylor walked down the aisle. Her daughter, brilliant in a white gown with lace-trimmed edges, looked like a vision. Taylor's face glowed with delight, her smile more brilliant than the sun setting behind her. Everything seemed to have returned fully circle. Andrea couldn't help but remember the early days when Taylor was a small child with great aspirations, performing in their living room for family and friends. She was now poised at the altar, ready to swear allegiance to the man she loved. Though Andrea's heart swelled with pride, there was also a sliver of sweetness. Taylor had always been her baby. The idea of her maturing and beginning her own life seemed daunting in ways she hadn't anticipated, but as Taylor reached Travis, their eyes locked in a timeless moment. Andrea sensed something change within, of her. Her daughter had always dreamed of this, and it was so much more than just a wedding. The result of years of laughter, tears, hardships, and triumphs. Beautiful vows and promises for the future abound in the ceremony. Andrea found herself blotting away a tear as the officiant spoke, her heart full of emotions she couldn't quite name. She had always known this day would arrive, but she had not ready for the tsunami of love that would sweep over her the instant her daughter traded vows with Travis. Then arrived the kiss, the symbolic seal of their marriage, the moment everyone had been waiting for. Taylor and Travis leaned in, their eyes closing as their lips kissed, tender but intensely passionate. Standing among the guests, Andrea sensed the air around her change to reflect the world itself, holding its breath. She watched them, and tears filled her eyes. Hers was moved not only by their love, but also by the knowledge that Taylor's new chapter would open doors for their whole family. Andrea had spent so many years keeping Taylor close, shielding her from the harshness of the world, guiding her across the ups and downs of life, but now her daughter had found someone who would do the same. Travis. Kelce was the man who would be at Taylor's side, comfort her when she needed it, encourage her when she needed it, and love her. Not only a celebrity or professional athlete, her through all the seasons of life. The kiss lingered a moment longer than Andrea anticipated, and in that moment she felt an intense release. Seeing Taylor so content, so at peace, gave Andrea relief she hadn't even realized she was carrying. She had always wanted the best for her daughter. Every moment of uncertainty, every concern she had ever had about Taylor's happiness seemed lifted in that very instant. Andrea could see the real, raw, pure love between Taylor and Travis reflected in their looks at one another. The guests burst into applause when their hands entwined and the way their hearts seemed to pulse one after the kiss, but Andrea stayed anchored in place. She knew there was no way to stop the flood of feelings that was building in her throat. She felt a lump form there. She had been counting down the years for this very moment. But now that it had arrived, it seemed like the most bizarre event of her life. Taylor was a woman, a wife, beginning her own path with the man she had selected. She was no more simply her little daughter. Andrea felt a surge of pride as the newlyweds turned to face the throng and their smiles shone more brilliantly than ever. Though Taylor had always been her pride and delight, she was seeing her daughter in a different way now. Andrea could never take away a woman in love, a woman who had found her soulmate. Andrea found friends, family, and well-wishers all around as the evening went on, but her mind kept returning to the kiss, the promise of eternity just moments ago. Andrea was standing by the dance floor later that evening when the stars started to glitter above the reception. She felt a hand on her shoulder and turned to find her husband, Scott, standing next to her as Taylor and Travis were sharing their first dance as husband and wife. "Are you okay?" His voice was soft when he asked. Andrea nodded, her eyes still flashing with unshed tears. She said, "I just never thought it would hit me this hard, though seeing them together and seeing how much they love each other makes me realize that part of me is letting go." "I thought I would be happy." Scott turned to smile knowingly, squeezing her hand. "Andrea will always be your girl, but now she has someone who will love her just as much as you do." "For every one of us! This marks a fresh chapter." Andrea nodded and watched her daughter whirl in Travis's arms. Her chest tightened. Unquestionably, they loved each other. Andrea knew she could let go for the first time. Taylor was going to be exactly fine. She had discovered someone walking beside her on this road of life, someone who would be there for her through everything. Andrea discovered she was smiling through her tears as the evening wore on. Joy, pride, and the deep awareness her daughter had discovered the love she had always been due mixed together. Andrea Swift knew with every thread of her being that her daughter was exactly where she was meant to be in that moment, watching Taylor and Travis kiss. Their wedding marked the beginning of a new chapter for their entire family as well. Knowing her daughter had found her happily ever after, Andrea felt peace calm her heart. It was time to let go and welcome the future. The title, Tear of a Mother, the emotional trip Andrea Swift took seeing Tay and Trav kiss at their wedding. Andrea Swift, whose heart thumped with expectation, sat in the back row of the elegant church, her fingers lightly clutching her purse. Since the birth of her daughter Taylor, her small daughter, whom she had raised with such love and care, now about to start one of the most important chapters of her life, had dreamed of this moment. Andrea had always known this day would arrive, but nothing could have readied her for the feelings whirling inside her as she watched her daughter, brilliant and beautiful, walk down the altar to Travis Kelce. The church hummed with brightness. The room exudes calm from the soft glow of the stained glass windows. Andrea's eyes swept the sea of familiar faces, friends, relatives, and colleagues, all here to see the union of two souls who, against all odds, had discovered something real and enduring in the erratic world of celebrity among the guests. Andrea's heart stopped for a moment on her ex-husband Scott, standing off to the side with eyes fixed on the altar. Though they no longer lived together, Andrea knew Scott felt the weight of the occasion as profoundly as she did in this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing, could have equipped her for the sight of Taylor in that moment. She had always loved Taylor. The church doors opened and she was there. Taylor wore a beautiful lace gown that glowed in the subdued light. Her eyes gleamed with a mix of excitement and deep feeling while her long blonde hair softly waved down her back. She moved slowly across the aisle, staring, fixed on. Standing, waiting for her at the altar, Travis made Andrea's breath stop in her throat, and momentarily the entire planet seemed to vanish. Her daughter, the small child she had once cradled in her arms, now a woman about to commit her heart to someone else, all she could see. Andrea was overwhelmed not only with the beauty of the moment, but also with the knowledge that her small daughter had grown up. She now was here marrying a man who loved her, really loved her. She remembered the sleepless nights spent rocking Taylor to sleep, the many hours spent helping with homework, and the great protectiveness she had always felt over her. Tears blurred Andrea's eyes as she watched Taylor approach Travis. His broad shoulders were steady and strong, his eyes never leaving hers. Andrea knew deep down that this was the best decision she could have made for her daughter. He was the man Taylor's heart had chosen, but still the heart of a mother conflicted with feelings. Taylor, as a small child, singing along to her favorite songs, the first time she had seen her daughter take the stage, the day Taylor came to her, her eyes wide with excitement, and told her about Travis, she tried to keep her cool. From the first they met, they had been inseparable. Andrea had seen the spark in both of their eyes. Her heart swelled with pride as she watched Travis treat Taylor with respect, kindness, and love. From the sidelines, she had seen their relationship blossom and felt both protective and hopeful. Now here they were, ready to be husband and bride. As the priest started the ceremony and asked her to share her vows, his voice broke through her ideas. As Andrea listened, her chest tightened. To Travis, his words were sincere and emotional, basic but yet profound. He promised to love Taylor unreservedly, to support her dreams, and to be by her side both now and always. Andrea felt his dedication to her daughter weighing her as he spoke. It was not only the words, it was also his voice's depth. his emotional rawness, his way of saying it. It was a promise not just to Taylor, but also to her family, to the life they had all created. Then, it was Taylor's turn. Taylor inhaled deeply and started to talk, her voice steady but slightly emotional. She started, her eyes locked with his. "You have shown me what it means to really love, to trust totally, and to laugh through trying circumstances. You are the love of my life, my soulmate, and my friend. I swear to be there for you every stage of life, to support and inspire you. I swear not to treat your love for granted and to lead a happy, exciting, respectful life." More than language can say, "I love you." As Andrea listened to her daughter's vows, her pride swelled. Doubts and regrets were absent. This was the moment Taylor had been waiting for, one Andrea would carry with her always. Taylor had discovered her own. Warmly smiling, the priest turned to the couple to ask them to kiss their vows sealed. The room held its breath as Taylor and Travis exchanged a tender, deep kiss. A kiss that declared as much as promised. It was everything. A moment of love, of loyalty, of two hearts joined always. Watching her daughter and Travis in that perfect embrace, Andrea felt a tear slide down her cheek. The weight of the moment nearly was intolerable. She had mentioned Taylor watched her kiss and guided her and loved her. Now it was time for her to let go, just a little bit. Andrea knew what it meant to release her child into the world. She was gaining a different kind of relationship with her rather than losing Taylor. Taylor was a woman standing beside the man she would be walking through life with, not just her daughter. Overwhelmed by the love in the room, Andrea momentarily closed her eyes. It was a love that cut across all, the demands of the world, the glitter of glory. It was a love based in respect, trust, and a shared future. Andrea knew that Taylor had discovered someone who would always have her back, who would make her laugh when the world seemed too heavy, and who would get her back up when she felt weak. The couple's happy and loving eyes filled each other as they turned away from the kiss. Andrea found herself grinning among her tears. She had done her job. She had raised a daughter who could love deeply, who knew what it meant to give her heart to someone totally, and who had found a partner fit for that love. While the visitors burst into cheers, Andrea's hands were steady as she gripped her purse, the tears still freely running down her face. She had always fantasized of this moment.